Yo, welcome to the channel. Since you clicked on this video, you're probably interested in some JDMs. If you have $15K, I know 5 cars you can choose from right now that you can pick up for less than that. Reinvest the difference back into the car and have a personalized monster. I'm gonna give you some reliable recommendations when it comes to mods and actual built prices and packages, but let's go over the baseline. These prices are based on purchase price and you swiping your car for mods. That means installation will vary depending on if you do the job yourself, with some friends, or have a shop do it. Check it out. The Lexus IS 300. Okay, check this out. The 05 Lexus IS 300 is a 3-liter inline 6 2JZ GE. But trust, it's going to deliver 215 horsepower, 218 pound-feet of torque to the rear wheels in a 4-door. Options were available in a 5-speed automatic or 5-speed manual. 0-60 time was around 7 seconds with a max speed of 143 miles an hour. Looking at 22 miles per gallon on average from an 18.5 gallon fuel tank, giving you around 400 miles of range. Trunk space is nice with 14.1 cubic feet, and you can pick up a nice one around 9K. So there's your daily stats. Let's talk mods. The Mark IV Supra is an amazing vehicle. It can do just about anything: drifting, grid style racing, drag racing, trips to Mexico. So why am I talking about the Supra? With some mods, that's what you have. Trash the stock distributor, modified ahead with a GTE camshaft sensor, GTE camshaft and trigger wheel. 4-door Supra minus the turbo parts. And you can easily build a 400 horsepower before dealing with the transmission. This option, the 2007 350Z, more importantly with the HR, is a front engine rear-wheel drive 3.5 liter V6 with 306 horsepower and 268 pound-feet of torque. A short wheelbase of 104 inches is just right for the drift circuit. It was offered in a 6-speed manual or 5-speed automatic and produced in 2 forms, a coupe or roadster with 5 trim levels: base, enthusiast, touring, grand touring, and Nismo. Base and Nismo are your only 2 options with a manual, but let's be real, those are the only 2 that we want. Though a drop top with an LS swap and a manual would be cool. Anyway, 5.4 seconds for a 0-60 and 13.6 seconds is 103 miles per hour in your quarter mile. Consistent braking from 60 at 109 feet. While sourcing a non-curb stomp version is becoming harder, you definitely can have your own for around 11.5. As I mentioned the HR earlier, it's definitely the king in regards to the 3 motor options that were offered in the 350 production lifecycle. Take your savings and get some track time. Enjoy it in the canyons, autocross, or neighborhoods. With a history of Grand Am British GT Championships, SCCA, NASA, drifting, and open wheel racing, it definitely can handle what you throw at it. But be warned, making NA power out of these engines can be hard. I would recommend the Z1 M-Spec 350 Cold Air Intake Street version, which is carb legal, clutch slave cylinder elimination kit, clutch and flywheel kit, well-wheel specific clutch master cylinder, before finding the exact exhaust you want. That won't cost you $1,000 every time you drive your car in Cali. Remember, 95 decibel max for cars and trucks, 80 decibel max for motorcycles, and it still leaves you money left over. If you have some modification ideas for the cars previously mentioned, or you have some other ideas of cars that will fall into this category, make sure you drop them in the comments and like the video. Alright, so we have the rear-wheel drive coupe and the rear-wheel drive sedan. Let's do something different. The Subaru Forester 2.5 XT has 210 horsepower, 235 pound-feet of torque, and it's reliable. It has extra legroom for activities and all-wheel drive. And you can find them for $11,000 with a manual, which is the important part for this. 2,400 pound towing capacity, 0-60 time in 6.2 seconds, came in a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic. Braking averages from 60 and 136 feet with a top speed of 130 miles an hour. Okay, check this out. So the EJ255 is an STI, yes? And the Forester XT has the EJ255, right? Here's the secret sauce. The EJ257 was put in the STI and the 04XT, but it was called the EJ255. They did this along with the 2006 Legacy GT, Outback XT. So I guess I gave you some bonus ideas. But anyway, the only difference was the turbo, the ECU, intercooler. Same rods, pistons, and heads. Now you're looking at 260 horsepower with some basic bolt-ons. Go a little further with some transmission, suspension, and body components, and you have that 2004 Forester STI that we never got in the States. The 2006 Agra Rsx Type S. So of course we have a Honda in a nice suit with the best MPGs of all, with 23 city, 31 highway. Front wheel drive, 201 horsepower, 140 pound-feet of torque. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's gonna get a lot better. Look, I haven't led you wrong so far. And trust your boy, it's not a Type R, but we're gonna build something a lot better. It's a coupe with a back shelf for a seat, because you're not gonna put anyone in there anyway, so you have some extra cargo space. You can pick up a nice one for $9K. The K20 Z1 has a ton of parts you can pick from, and you can pick them up for way cheaper than any of the previous mentioned cars. We're talking about headers, exhaust, intake. It's all affordable. And it's affordable to go forced induction with a supercharger or turbo. As an example, you can get a complete up Sidewinder turbo system for $4,500, bringing your overall price to $13,500, and have maintenance funds left over to support these mods. Remember, the most important mod is maintenance before power adders. I'm definitely thinking of this as a fun daily, and it will be my first front wheel drive build. From everything I've seen online and in person, these things are great. An even better sleeper option. Okay, I didn't put this list together in any particular order. I will take any of the cars that was previously mentioned on this list, but see if you can guess the last one. It's a V6, twin turbo, all-wheel drive, 300 horsepower, 300 pound-feet of torque, coupe. The 1999 3000 GT VR4. Look, your full 15K is gonna go to this, but I was surprised to even come across 2 or 3 of these at $14,999, since the majority of the market are holding them or selling them at upwards of $35K. So I had to drop this gem in here in hopes that one of you come across it, or you already have one, you can leave your thoughts about it with the community. But again, we're talking about the VR4 variant. What does your purchase price get you if you can get it? 3000 GT VR4 has 4-wheel drive, twin turbo, twin intercooled V6 with dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder design, putting out 320 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 315 pound-feet of torque at 2,500 RPM. 6-speed manual gearbox is your only option. McPherson struts up front. For the VR4's rear suspension is double wishbone, and it has 4-wheel steering. So toe-in links in the rear suspension introduce toe-in when cornering or under hard braking or acceleration, with up to 1.5 degrees of steering angle of the rear wheels in the same direction as the front at 31 miles an hour or faster. Large brakes at all 4 corners. ABS is standard. Limited slip viscous coupling for center and rear differentials, and a torque split front and rear of 45-55, making it rear wheel drive bias. So not a bad start, but you will need to build a transmission when you have some extra funds. And be handy with a wrench, because working on these things can be pricey with a shop. When you get some extra cash for upgrades, all you need to do is upgrade the turbo, fuel pump, 1000cc injectors, and add some corn juice, and you have 530 wheel horsepower every day, all day. So these are 5 JDMs with some extras that I thought of, and maybe you have some that you can think of as well. So drop them in the comments and we can all talk about it together. Oh, and I have one last question. How do you feel about muscle cars?